Welcome to Bards Atlas. Tonight's story was inspired by a screenshot taken from the 2009 film Watchmen. Enjoy.
Incoming message. New database submission imminent. Bar designation
Eli.
Log ID
Log 7801-04. Subject, the Colonist.
compiled. Begin submission.
The entries that we've salvaged begin at entry number 87. Entry 87. The derelict remains of my freighter hang in the atmosphere of this world. I have drifted through this system, chased by the ghosts of my ambition. I have pushed too far, beyond the limits of where any mortal should traverse. There is nothing for me here. Entry 88. I am surface-bound, unable to stomach the sight of the stars or the void any longer. This planet is barren and lifeless, a cold, rocky waste of soil and topography. I sail down to what I am sure is to be my grave. Entry 89. Landing was uneventful, save for the knowledge that my vessel is now out of fuel. I abandoned it to the deserts days ago. The fuel gauge is still ringing in my ears, the blasted thing. I am surrounded on all sides by openness. The flat horizons taunt me in the distance. The empty, cloudless sky is a dull maroon that bears down upon my shoulders. The wind whispers of my failure. The isolation is so great, I long to reach out and touch anything around me that isn't frozen air. A lone boulder before me is now an island paradise to the senses. I cannot help but lean against it and feel its chill on my back. It anchors me to the ground more than do my own feet. Entry 90. I have traversed far now. The landscape finally begins to change. The deserts give way to twisted canyons and deformed cliffs. It's possible water once ran through this place, but now there is only dust. My rations are dwindling, and I am losing myself. Strange thoughts flow through me like the rivers that might have once flowed across this world. Through the lens of insanity or enlightenment, I discover the folly of my life's pursuits. I curse my former ambitions. What fool would think a colony worth building out here? Out anywhere? A massive mountain spire rises in the distance, perhaps a dormant volcano of Goliath proportion. I can tell that it is many days away, and still it takes up more than half of the sky to my right. On a whim, I make my way towards it, unable to shake these unbearable thoughts. This planet that slowly ends me is one of terrible, empty beauty. But how would it be improved by the presence of a mining facility, a spaceport, a neighborhood? What good would a civilization do to this world? What good would a civilization do to any world? This is Eli. Let the record show that the log is in mild disrepair at this point. The next few entries are just irretrievable. But I can gather that somewhere along the way, he found a source of fresh water to keep him moving towards the volcano. Be ready. The nature of his journal entries take a sudden turn. Entry number 96. The mountain seems ambivalent of my presence. I continue to stumble on pockets of shrubbery and moisture, enough to sustain me. But the winds are harsh. The winds push me back, as if afraid that gravity alone is not enough to keep me huddled against the dirt. I see no sign of how close I am to the top. Entry number 97. There is a hatch. I have found a door in the mountain. It is steel and smooth, and it is opening for me. I will update this journal as I move forward into the gut of the volcano. Entry number 98. It is clear to me now that this is no volcano. This is a facility built into this grand mountain. Or perhaps the mountain itself is just a facade to enclose this structure, whatever it is. It seems that somewhere in the history of this world, a colony was already established. Civilization has already left its mark on this world. I have yet to determine whether it has left any remnants for me to find. I dare not hope for salvation or discovery. Entry number 99. The power is coming on in short bursts. I am sure that this is not my doing. For a few minutes at a time, the lights turn on. I have but a few brief moments in the day to retrieve water and rations before I am plunged into the darkness again. I have only these brief moments to witness the full mechanical underbelly of the mountain. The architecture and technology are relatively alien, but I understand enough to know that this is not meant to be a permanent haven for living beings. Perhaps it is a research station, or perhaps it is a transport hub to another location, a bridge or a portal of some kind. Perhaps I endanger myself with my own expectations. Entry number 100. I have lost a leg. A foolish attempt to cross a wide chasm. The power evaporated too quickly and I fell. The drop was survivable, but the sharp spires beneath me were not. I am not in pain, and this frightens me. I cannot feel my leg, not even the part that is still attached. The power is back on. This has not happened before. Perhaps an angel of death approaches. I will welcome the other side with open arms, but I admit, even now, I have traveled so far beyond the edges of the galaxy, even the heavens feel beyond my reach. If I do die, and someone finds this, please tell... Something is coming. Entry 101. I hesitate to report on what has just happened, as I am scared writing it down will reveal it to have simply been of my own imagination. A medical drone is treating my leg. It floated out of the depths of the mountain. It does not speak, but it has tended my wound for the past several hours. I am not ashamed to say that I am in tears. I have never been so moved to see another soul before me, even one as quiet and passive as this metal entity. I believe it heard me screaming and answered with undeserved kindness. This mountain yet lives. Entry 102. My medical friend is still with me. He brings me food, real food, not rations. He has loyally stayed by my side for the past several weeks. Even now, he holds this journal for me as I dictate my thoughts to him. Emboldened, I have traversed further into the facility. The power is no longer flickering. In areas that I move through, the power remains on for good until I travel down into the next level. The facility is lighting my way. Entry number 103. Yesterday, I discovered a window. The same desert canyons and wastelands I walked for so many days meet my eyes. I have traveled back down to ground level from within the mountain. It seems I am going even further down, underground. I am embarrassed to admit my imagination is getting to me. I cannot help but dream up images of a lush wildlife and a warm climate underneath the surface. This is Eli. Let the record show again that the next part of the journal is also lost to damage. We're nearing the final entries. Entry 116. Oswald seems to have siblings. In the past few hours, I have encountered several other drones of a similar build to him. However, they do not appear to be of a medical designation. They do not seem bothered by my existence. One smaller drone bumped into me and printed out an apology on a screen. I have laughed for the first time in days. Entry 117. I am approaching what I believe is the core of this entire facility. My heart beats faster in anticipation. Within the hour, I may discover what this mountain truly is. I do not know what awaits us in the next entry. Entry 118. I have found myself the most miserable of dilemmas. In the core, I have found a computer console, as well as an escape transport. I have discovered that this facility is the central hub for a dormant terraforming operation. The original builders of the mountains seem to have abandoned this world long ago, but for what reason, I cannot determine. A command prompt is in front of me at the computer console. The station has spent over a millennia preparing to activate its protocols across the entire planet. In an effort to save power, however, the facility's power systems were only activating for several minutes at a time to keep basic functions operating throughout the years. It wasn't until I entered the facility did the operation begin to reawaken in full. And now, this computer asks whether I wish to turn this planet into a hospitable home for future generations. This, unfortunately, brings me to my dilemma. There is not enough power in the facility for me to begin the terraforming process and refuel the transport vessel. To stay and terraform will leave me to certain isolation. The process will not be complete for another century, and the planet itself may not even be discovered until many years after. To leave, on the other hand, would provide me the chance to see my home again, to find my family, and embrace them once more. But the risk of failure is high and perilous, and thus my choices are clear before me, but no less easy to make. Stay for certain isolation, or risk frightening death and leave this world behind, never to see a single shred of life upon its surface.